Good afternoon, everybody. Verl Workman here, CEO of Workman Success Systems, and welcome to today's flash briefing. What an exciting time to be in real estate, and what an exciting time to be here. I have an amazing guest today, and it's going to be like two friends catching up, where we get to talk to the one and only Nicole Cogan. Nicole, welcome, and thanks for being on the call today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to do this.
All right, so as you join this Facebook Live today, please jump into the chat box. Let us know you're here. If you have questions for Nicole, you want to hear about all the great things she's doing to have tremendous success during this crazy time, it's a great time to ask those questions. So I encourage you all just to say hello, where you're from, and let Nicole and I know that you're here, and tell us how you're doing and all this COVID stuff. So Nicole, just really quick, give us a little background. Tell us where's home for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the Wisconsin area, kind of halfway in between Milwaukee and Madison is where I call home in Pewaukee. And I've been selling real estate for over 20 years. I really love it. My mom was my mentor and really kind of brought me into the business, and I got to learn from the best in her.
So you've been doing real estate basically since birth, because you look like you're about 20. So that's
yeah, I got my real estate license when I was 19.
Yeah, that is so cool. And so give me a little, are you an individual agent? Tell me a little bit about your team.
Yeah, so I was with a bigger brokerage for about 17 years. And then shortly before my daughter was born, I decided it would be a great idea to go out and start my own brokerage. Not really because I wanted to hire a team or do anything big and fancy, but I just wanted to have a little bit more control and autonomy in the role. And then before I know it, people came to me and asked if they could join me, and I said sure. And it just kind of happened very, I'll say unintentionally. I'm an unintentional real estate broker, but man, what a journey! What a cool thing to have God kind of point me in a direction I didn't necessarily intend to go, but it's been really good. So we've been the real estate center has been around for about 4.5 years now.
And how many people on your team? Tell me about.
We've got 10 people on the team, doing a variety of roles, from buyer's agents to administrative support, technology, that kind of thing.
So you're always kind of the life of the party, and it's funny. It's funny when I told everybody to say hi on Facebook. You've got everybody saying, Caprice Gunn says Nicole rocks. Irene says you look amazing, which you do. Shiloh says Nicole rock. Yeah, a lot of people think you rock the world there. John's here from Waukesha, Wisconsin. I don't know if I said that right. Tammy
you did.
Slay
that was perfect. Hello. Right on.
When you get 3 or 4 loves from Tammy Slay, there's a lot of love there.
Thanks, guys.
So fun to see everybody here, and welcome. And so Nicole, how's your team function during all this COVID stuff going on?
Fortunately, we've had really great support through Workman Success. We've really been able to stay on top of and kind of define the narrative instead of letting it be defined for us. Our team has been really good at reaching out to people and just staying connected and staying positive and being helpful as we can in during this process.
So I love that. Are you transacting? Are you selling houses?
Oh yeah, we're definitely selling houses. Yeah, this market is on fire. In fact, we just listed a new listing today, and I've already got 14 showings set up for it, and my phone's on airplane mode because otherwise it would be very loud.
Hey, it'd be going off right now. Yeah, I love that. The challenge is getting the listings, right? Do you have a little bit of an inventory challenge?
We have been, but I committed to my coach to have a listing a week. Every week, a minimum of 1 listing per week. And ever since we started that, when we came out of COVID, we've had at least 1 listing, sometimes 3 or 4 per week. So we've been pretty blessed to be intentional and stay motivated that way.
All right. So who's your coach?
My coach is Caprice Gunn. We've been together for almost 3 years now.
That's really fun. I love that she's challenging you. A lot of people during COVID kind of pulled back and stopped doing any real estate. And Caprice is like, oh, you got to list more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. She's been my cheerleader and my support, and basically just my best friend and my confidant through this COVID time. But really, starting your own brokerage is no joke. I mean, that's a serious undertaking in and of itself. And so it's been great to have her along to guide and ask me the right questions to get my mind thinking the right way.
That's fun. Brooke Sign says she's so proud of you and thinks it's so awesome to see you have the success that you're having. So we talk about real estate, we talk about doing listings and how our business is continuing to grow and to do okay. A lot of people are afraid to go anywhere. You just went on a trip. Tell me about how
I
you
did.
got out of your head and actually got on a plane and challenged the COVID squads.
I did. So I'm an ELP endorsed local provider with Dave Ramsey, and he was holding his Entree Leadership Summit, and I heard it got moved from Orlando to Nashville, where his headquarters were, and I said, well, if that's happening, I'm going. Like I'm a country girl. Nashville's second home to me, and so I said, yeah, we're definitely going to go, and I just choose not to be driven by fear. I feel like opportunities exist, and I want to take every opportunity to really live my life to the fullest. And I'm so glad I went. Like, it was amazing just to be around people and to have connections with people and just feel that spirit, that American spirit. It was great. So, and I took one of my team members, Katie, with me too, and I know she would echo the same sentiments.
Well, Chrissy says that your team is watching, so.
Hi.
All right. So tell me what you came away from there with. So, for me, I think you have to be you have to really, you have to want something really bad to feel like you're putting yourself or your family at risk. And, forget the politics of COVID. At first we all heard about it. Now we all know someone who's been affected by it. We have coaches, team members, family members that have been affected by COVID. It's not a joke. It's real. How do you what made it worth it for you?
I think it's just sometimes you just really need to get your tank filled up, and I think that was a big part of what going meant for me. What's this about being a leader, and what does a leader do, and how do they act? And so for me, it was really just a chance to go and kind of decompress and focus on what my why is. Why am I doing this? And so it was a great opportunity to really build on that and feel like it was I'm very glad I went. Very glad I went.
So give me a couple of takeaways, one or two things that you're going to do different as a result of being there.
Well, my team would hear me say this. One of the things that we talked about at Entree Leadership was the need to have thoroughbreds on your team. I want real butt kickers on the team. And so one of the things that we've talked about in our meetings since then is that it's really important that everybody shows up and does what they're intending to do, what they say they're going to do. And I need to start inspecting what I expect a lot more. And so kind of the pressure's on the team from that one, because it's really important to me to have a very solid dialed in team, and they're great. I love our team. And so it's just a question of really doing the things, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to lead them to give their best life. I want them to have the most productivity they can have, and I want them to really be able to accomplish their goals and dreams. And what we do right now affects what happens to us 90 days from now. And so I say, listen, it's real easy. We're busy. We can take the foot off the gas and not touch base with people and not follow through on just the simple things that are easy to not do. But if we focus on them right now, then in 3 months, it's going to be the middle of October, and you're still going to have business and you're still going to be able to transact. And so, so I'm just kind of laying out that timeline and saying, hey, I'm not doing this, to you, I'm doing this for you. And that's really one of the takeaways was make sure your team has got a lot of thoroughbreds on there. And so that's what we're doing.
I've never heard that concept before. So I'm thinking about it. I got a visual, and it reminds me of a time that I was actually in Kentucky, and I went to one of the horse races, and I was walking by the stalls, and I was blown away by the sheer beauty of the thoroughbreds, these horses that have been bred for excellence. And so what I got in my mind's eye as you were talking about, I want a team of thoroughbreds. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want. I want these horses that are bred to race, and they're bred to win, and they know how to focus. I love the whole concept of that. I think there's a coaching concept in there, Nicole. You might have me borrowing that.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't mine, but.
well, thank Dave. Good job, Dave.
Thank Dave. Yep.
Tammy thinks it's she loves the culture that you're creating and thinks it's really fun. The other thing that so how did your team respond to that? Do you have some team members that aren't necessarily thoroughbreds that need to be developed into thoroughbreds?
I think it's just a mindset thing. I think everyone has the capability to do it. I think it's just really easy to not do it and to let a day slip by or 2 days or a week. I think we've all been there. I certainly have been there, and I'm never going to say that anybody's doing anything that I haven't done, because in the past it's been real easy to miss calls and and just not focus on those little things that keep the business going. So I think everybody's got absolutely the capacity in them to do it, and I think some have already been consistently doing it. So I think it's just a matter of just giving a little encouragement and telling them, hey, I know you can do it, and I'm doing this with you, and let's rock this.
All right, so you just gave me permission that I don't have to look like a thoroughbred. I just have to think like one, because when I look in the mirror, I don't see thoroughbred. I see, oh, he's out to pasture. That guy better stop eating hay. But I have a mindset of a thoroughbred. Like absolutely want to go hard, and I absolutely want to have success, and I actually want all the things that make me happy in life. You said that something popped in my mind as you were talking. You said, Verl, I want the agents to focus on the basic fundamentals and do it better than everybody else. Give me an idea of what some of those are to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just literally the most basic thing. I know you really encourage people to talk to their top 50 and really make that connection. More than sending an email or a text message, really reach out and see how they're feeling in their hearts, what's going on with them, and build that strong relationship. So I think building relationships is the number one thing that we can do. I say, I don't sell houses. I always say we don't sell houses. We just guide through the process. People choose the house and we help. And the same thing with, where we're at right now, I don't feel like I sell houses. I feel like I mentor agents and grow them and let them reach their full potential. And so it's kind of that same approach there.
So was that a hard transition from you to being a salesperson to being a leader?
I thought it was going to be, but really once I made the decision to do it, it was really pretty seamless. I realized that, and I think this is a big thing that a lot of people have a hard time with, is how do I let go? How do I let go of control? And at the end of the day, I'm probably not the best real estate agent on our team. I mean, and I'm confident enough to say that. Like, I have seen my buyer's agents exceed what I felt like I could do. And I've heard them have the conversations. And so I had to trust that they knew what they were doing. And are mistakes going to happen? Absolutely. Are things going to we should have fixed this or we should have done that? Sure. But I'm comfortable enough in myself as a leader to know that it doesn't have to be perfect as much as we try and we want it to be perfect. When you take those handcuffs off, where it's keeping you on that hamster wheel, when you take that off, you've just got this great opportunity to empower others to live their best life. And when you give them that trust, I mean, they'll set the world on fire. It's not, it's when I hold back that they hold back. And that's what I've really found. So the more that I can trust other people to do it, they love to do it and they love to feel comfortable doing it, and that I trust them. And I think that's a huge part of it. And so don't be afraid. If you've got leaders out there who are like, I can only do this, nobody can do it better than myself, that is absolutely not true. You are not looking in the same mirror, right? Because you make mistakes too. And so people just need to know that it's okay to make a mistake, but let's try not to make it twice.
All right, so a couple things. That was a good amount of content in a short period of time. But you said a couple things that really stood out to me. One was that I have enough confidence in myself to know that I'm not the best agent on my team, and I'm good with it. You actually celebrate somebody else doing better than you, and so that's a leadership trait that's really hard to teach, but you got it. So once you understand that your job as a leader is to just elevate your people and help them be great, that's when your business explodes. Is that what you've noticed? Is your business
absolutely
exploded?
Yeah, I mean, the people who are really diving in and empowered, like people who thought, I don't think I can ever be a real estate agent, and somehow I convinced them to do it, and not only to do it, but now they're doing it at a very high level. It's amazing to see that transformation. And honestly, it's what fills me. Like, you ask me what my why is and what I'm passionate about, I don't think there's anything better than taking a person who doesn't have any real estate experience and teaching them how to be a thoroughbred. I mean, we get to change lives. This is no joke. Like, this is serious stuff. And so to be able to take somebody and take them under our wing and say, hey, here's what we're thinking about doing. Here's what we want to do. Here's where I think you can be. And I see past what their limiting beliefs are and what they think. And then when they start reaching those goals and hitting their income goals and changing their life, man, that's what I'm been put on earth to do. That's like, without a joke.
All right. So out of curiosity, define a thoroughbred. So what is the level of performance that a thoroughbred has? What is the thoroughbred doing?
Yeah, I think communication is absolutely key in everything, from communicating with clients so they always know what to expect before it happens. I think that's the best thing you can possibly do as a real estate agent. But then beyond that, communicating with the team so we know what's happening, following up with clients, and just really being connected and being in it with them. I think that's those are the things you can do. If you can do those things well, the systems and the tools and everything that we've got built in, that's all going to take care of itself. Like, it's going to be natural, but it's just that communication and that ability to listen and respond and stay on top of daily tasks, and you'll be a rock star.
All right, so I'm going to get you to be a little more specific than that. Is the thoroughbred doing 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month?
Oh,
10 deals
no.
What does that look like?
Yeah, in numbers, I mean, our minimum is 2 deals per month to be a thoroughbred or on the team. And I think that a lot of agents they think, oh, I could never do that, or and then I said, no, you can, and that's the minimum. Like, we want 3 or 4 deals a month, and that's a minimum. Like, anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish. And so to see the agents stepping into the roles and really doing what they say that, what the system allows them to do, pushing past that limiting belief is really amazing.
So I love that. It's fun to see them start to do that, going from, I can't imagine doing 3 deals a month to, I can't imagine not doing 3 deals a month. That's a fun transition, isn't it? To see happen with people.
It is.
Right, so talk to me about some of the systems in your business that have impacted your business the most. So when you look at, you're fairly tech savvy and you have a lot of systems that you run. What are the impact systems? What are the ones that have moved the needle for you the most?
Yeah, well, my undergrad degree is computer technologies, and so I've got a law degree too. So I'm, a weird combination of geek and nerd, right? So I really enjoy the systems and what it has allowed me to do. What systems have really done for me. When I started with Workman almost 3 years ago, I mean, I just had an Excel spreadsheet. I didn't have all of the resources that you get when you're a client. And so it's been really amazing to step into it and not feel like, first of all, not feel like I'm alone in this. As an independent broker, we have to create everything that we make. So whether it's a flyer, a sign, business cards, I mean, everything that happens when you're independent, there's no marketing team. Like, it was me and my laptop to start out with. And so we really had to create all that. But going into the systems, what it's really allowed me to do is really feel comfortable and at ease and peace. Because what I did is I took basically my 20 years of real estate experience and I said, this is what I want the customer's experience to be. This is how I want them to be treated, what information I want them to know. And I really dialed it deep, like into very specific things. Like, I tried to think of every question I've ever been asked in a real estate transaction. And then I like to provide that to the agents in a format or in a system so that they can rely on it. So then they can start out, even as a brand new agent, and say, I'm not missing anything because it's already been thought through. All the questions have been answered, all the concerns I can address them. And so that really took the foot off the brake for me. I was able to, once I felt like I had my systems in place, and it took time to get there, without question, it was a lot of work. But once I got there, and now that I'm here, it's just freedom for me. Like, I'm not afraid to hire somebody because now I know I've got the Workman Training Center behind me. I've got our RealVolve system behind me. And so when they're stepping into a transaction, they've got built-in information so that I know the client's getting the same level of service and across the board. So yeah, it's just been a peace of mind for me, confidence for the agents. Systems are the bomb.
You're not a geek, you're an educated geek. That's even different. That's just better. When my wife went back to school to get her degree in interior design, people say you have good taste. She says, no, I have educated taste. And for me, it just meant she had more expensive taste. It's probably the same with technology. So tell me more about you mentioned RealVolve.
Mhm.
RealVolve is your CRM. Tell me more
Yes.
about, you're with the technology background you have, there's a lot of CRMs out there. Why RealVolve? And what are some of the unique things that you've done with it in your business that have moved the needle for you?
Yeah, so it took me in Caprice, as my coach would tell you, it took me a year and a half to find RealVolve. I refused to settle for this is just a good CRM or this is what we use. I literally had no CRM for a year and a half because I didn't want to set one up and then have to start over. So I just kept researching. I'm like, there's got to be one that does what I want it to do. And so RealVolve, it's such a unique CRM because you can build anything you want in it. You can build what they call workflows for any type of transaction, and you totally control and customize the content. And that's been amazing because we literally have started with, you have to think this through. You can't just kind of wing it. You have to really think it through and have the ability to, what do I want my clients to hear and understand? And from the first second we get a lead, we've got them on a workflow until 10 years after a transaction. So there isn't any gaps. We've filled all the gaps. So it's been good and it's easy to rely on. We've had good experiences with it, and I was lucky to find them. So we've had it for about a year and a half, and it took about a year to get it really dialed in, but it just takes time and you have to lean into it.
So I'm curious about, like, I don't know if you even know this number, but how many like different types of workflows do you have launched at any given time within your database? Like you have a buyer one, a seller one, a
Yep.
lead that hasn't converted yet, maybe a past client. I don't know how many do you have that you're running?
So we have ruled that everybody in our database is on a workflow, whether it's just a hey, touch and base, so we remember to call them so nobody falls through the cracks, or it's somebody who's actively working a transaction or a new lead comes in. So the rule is that everybody in your database should be on a workflow of some sort, unless it's another agent or something. But even then, it's not a bad thing just to say, hey, how's it going? Reach out, be human.
And so workflow can be as simple as pick up the phone and call this person.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be anything from sending an email, sending a text message, doing a bomb video. All of it is integrated in there. And so it's really amazing. And you can do things quickly, but still be very personal. And that's what I like the most about it, because it's the content you put into it, not necessarily a format.
So I'll give you a little insight. Let's pretend nobody else is listening to us. So
Okay.
we have an upcoming webinar with RealVolve, and we've done a few pre-calls. And one of the things we're doing is we're having them go through all of our Rockstar top 50 action plans and create a customized top 50 workflow you'll be able to turn that on and just have it launched on your top 50. I know you've built yours, but there's cool stuff coming down the pipeline. RealVolve is constantly trying to create better systems for our mutual clients.
Yeah, it's great. I love them. I've been able to work with them pretty closely, and I'm very happy to be a part of that too.
So that's fun. So you've been with Workman for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
I remember your first conference, and I remember getting feedback that Nicole didn't necessarily feel the love. Do you feel the love today?
I feel the love today. Yep.
Nothing hurts my heart more than someone that feels like they didn't get they didn't feel the love from everybody. And I just that's always resonated with me, and I just have so much respect for you that you were willing to say, you know what, it wasn't the experience I thought I should have, because it makes me want to fix it. And some people don't give you feedback or don't give you the ability to improve or make things better. So that's one of my favorite Nicoleisms is, I got to feel the love. I don't feel the love. You're going to hear about it. So
there's improvement reasons for opportunities for improvement everywhere.
Well, there is, and and I believe that. Like for me, I have so many. Ask my wife; she'll tell you how much room there is for improvement. There's tremendous room for improvement. So, since you've been with Workman for a few years, tell us what you've learned and how your business or life has changed. Can you just kind of share with the listeners what's the impact?
Yeah, that's I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am right now. I would probably be back to being a single agent, or I may have hung it up, honestly. Without Workman, I mean, I was in business by myself. When you leave a big brokerage and your friends and everybody who's there and you start your own, it's like, who do I call on to ask a question of? I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. And so it was an interesting journey to finding you, Verl. And I don't know if you even remember this, but you came to a WRA convention in Milwaukee a few years ago. And I had my whole, I had my whole 2 days planned out. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I left the first session, and as I was walking to the second room breakout section that I was going to, I walked past this room, and there's all these people standing outside, like leaning in to listen. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I was planning on doing, but I walked right into that room and sat down, and I did not leave. I spent the rest of the day there with you, even standing most of the time because it was standing room only. And then the next day I did the broker version with you, and just really resonated with what you said. And being a brand new mom, I had a 1-year-old at the time when we first met, and having that time, having that work-life balance was something you spoke of and very much resonated with me. I also had 2 new agents who were brand new, and I was like, how am I going to put my 20 years experience into their head? How can I do this in a way that's not going to drive me crazy?
Right.
Because I don't want to keep repeating it and doing it over and over. And so you showed us the training center, and then it was just the systems. The lead tracker to be able to follow up on leads, the ABCs of lead management. If I wouldn't have had those things, it just, things would have fallen through the cracks. And so all of those things really combined. And then having Caprice as my coach, just to have someone to talk to and say, this is what I'm experiencing. And, hands down, it was the best business decision I've ever made. Like, that's the easiest thing I can say. Transformed my life, but not just my life. It's transformed all of our team's lives, and that to me is where it is, and now I get to pass the knowledge that you guys have spent a lot of time and energy building. And thank you for doing that, because my gosh, the amount of information that clients get who are Workman success clients get, it's ridiculous. It's overwhelming. It takes about 3 years to absorb it because there's so much. There's stuff that I'm still like, well, I didn't know that was in the training center or in the resource library, because you can't grasp it all at once. And so to be able to really jump in and it's just been amazing. And Caprice obviously is my coach. She's helped me define, what my vision is, because I never really thought about it. I'm like, I'm going to sell houses. I think that's what everybody thinks, right? I'm just going to sell houses, and I want to sell more than I did last year. That's pretty much it. But why do you want to sell houses, and where do you want to go with your life? And, just being able to keep me focused on tasks. And, we're all pretty driven. And if you're on the Richter scale or on the DISC profile like I am, we can get distracted really easy, and we make quick decisions. But it's nice to have somebody to bounce things off of and say, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think about this? You've had experience, from your 35,000 foot view versus I'm in the trenches. Is this a good idea? Not a good idea? And so, how has Workman changed my life? My God, it has completely changed it. So thank you.
Well, I'm so proud of you. As I listen to you, it's like I'm like a proud dad. I just want to reach through Facebook and give you a Verl hug and let you know I'm so proud of you, because you're the one that's done the work. You talk about your coach, Caprice, and what's interesting is every coach has a style. They all follow business principles we call it the Workman way, but they all have their own style. And Caprice's style is very interesting because we don't hear from her clients very often. She gets assigned a client, she works with them, and then all of a sudden she'll nominate them to be a coach because they're kicking butt and taking names. And so she's a great developer of good businesses, and she does such a tremendous job. And so we're lucky to have her and you helping other people. And that's how has coaching been for you? Do you like doing that?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I was, kind of nervous at first. Do I know enough? How can I help these guys? But man, it's been cool, because sometimes I open my mouth and Caprice falls out, or Verl falls out, or Cleve falls out, because I'm retaining what I've used. And I think it's growing me as a leader. I think it's amazing to see the transformation. And there is a point at which, if I'm being totally honest, my team was pushing me not to be a coach. And they said, no, they and I'll say not my current team, let's put it that way. They were pushing me not to be a coach because I think they wanted to hold on to me and they wanted my time for them. And I think that there was a conflict there. And for a while, I was letting them win that argument. And then, kind of as happens, something had to give. And I poured into coaching, and I'm so glad I did. Like, it's amazing. Again, it's just amazing when you look at your trajectory in your life and how you end up. You think you're going to do one thing and then you end up doing something different, and just how amazing it can be. And you just expand beyond what you ever thought was possible. And so coaching has really done that for me. And it's, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. There's no question about it.
It's interesting. It's interesting, Nicole, when someone says, why do you coach, or why do you, what do you love about coaching? It's hard to describe it. It's hard to describe what it feels like when you help someone see something bigger, and then they actually achieve it and they go, I had no idea what was possible. And it kind of opens up the world to them. And so I love that you've caught in that bug. It's once you have it, it's very hard to get rid of. It's like a disease. I'm addicted to it. I need more of it. I want more people in my life that I can help. And I love that feeling that you just expressed.
Well, that saying, my dad used to say it to me all the time, you can give a man a fish and he eats for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. I think of that every time I start a coaching call. Like, any time that I get the opportunity to talk to another real estate agent who is struggling with the work and the stress and the no life, not having a life and all of those things. And I'm like, man, I can teach you to fish. Just come into my river. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny. So my daughter had a kid call her up and say, you want to go fishing the other day? And she said, sure. And he says, all right, well, can I come over to your house and borrow your fishing pole? And so they came over and got all the fishing stuff, and they went out and fished. They came back and they didn't catch anything. And I thought, you know what? They have all the tools, but no one's actually taught them how to fish.
Yeah.
I need to take you fishing, not just give you my fishing stuff.
Yep.
So good analogy. I know Anna's thinking, Dad, don't talk about me on your Facebook lives. So Cleve Gaddis says to tell you hello, and great information. And your coach comes on and says that you're rocking this, and that she believes you are amazing, Nicole. And so I want to know what's next for you. So tell me what you see in the next 2 or 3 years, not just business wise, but I want to know what Nicole's going to be doing. Tell me about what you envision for your future in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I want to grow the team, but I don't want to grow it unnecessarily. I want the team and the company to be built kind of organically with people who genuinely want to serve others. I think that's a big thing with me. It's not about houses, it's about helping people. And for me personally, I've got a daughter, she's 4.5 years old now. And she's my why. No question. She's right over my shoulder right there. So I really want to focus on spending time with her. She's our one and only. And then I really want to focus on spending time with my families and my parents and doing all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to say real estate doesn't matter, but let's be honest. At the end of the day, your family, that's the most important thing. And your friends and the life you get to live. And so work is work for me, but it fuels the fun, as I think someone once told me. I think that was you, Verl.
Yeah, it's the means to the end. It's not the end.
Yeah, and so I don't want to be driven into the ground with too much work. And so I want to set up the right systems, have the team be able to do the thing. And I want everybody on the team to have that same benefit of we can turn it off and we can focus on our families, because that is the most important thing.
Yeah, all those thoroughbreds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so April wanted to know what it is that, what spurred you to want to become a coach? What was the first inkling or thought you had that said, yeah, I think I'd like to coach?
Well, I'm pretty sure what it was I heard Reed got nominated, and I was like, what? How did I not get picked? So it was that competitive nature. And then it was really just, I think it's such a great opportunity. Being a coach, I think, makes me a better team leader. It makes me a better person. I just have got a deeper understanding. And really, at the end of the day, like, in fact, I was telling Katie last week, I said, what's really cool is that I feel like I can go anywhere in the country right now and have friends there. And I love to travel, so you can bet your buns, Rick Jiha, I'm going to come and visit you as soon as this thing is lifted. But yeah, so it's really just, it's a family, like it's a group of individuals, but Workman's just a total family. And I was very honored and blessed to be indoctrinated into the coaching group so that I get access to these awesome.
We're honored to have you part of the family, and I want to go see Rick too, but I'm not until I don't have to wear a mask on the beach because it doesn't look good with my swimwear.
Right.
Actually, a mask might be good because then I could be in disguise and I can wear whatever I wanted.
Well, I said, people in Hollywood must love this because now they can go places and people don't recognize them.
Everybody's incognito.
Yep.
All right. So do you have a virtual tip or a virtual skill that you've been doing with your team that's made a big impact?
Yeah, it was one that came about through you naturally, but that are you in front of your computer? So I have been using that personally with people who I just want to connect with and hey, are you in front of your computer? Let me show you. And so if we've got a new lead that we're on the phone with, I'll say, hey, are you in front of your computer? Let me give you a sneak peek into what MLS looks like from my side. And I will literally set the search up with them right then and there. And then they've got this buy-in that they helped create the search and they helped define it and they got to see it. I think it's just much more, creates a better bond. And so if you've got people who are new, maybe online leads or people you just haven't met yet, boy, if you can get face-to-face with them, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's funny. We were on a coach training call and I came up with that dial. We were just talking like, you buy your computer? Like, why would you say that all the time? And it's turned into something that's really true. And I believe that that's one of the dialogues that's not going to go away when COVID goes away. Like I can see every lead call meeting. Are you by your computer? Like, let's start every conversation that way and see if we can connect with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Nicole, as we wrap this up today, I just want to know if there's any one piece of advice, any single piece of advice that you would give any listener. I don't care if they're a Workman client, a coach, a family member, anybody who's trying or struggling right now in their business. And I want you to be like, give me a real tactical action item. What is the one thing that somebody can do that will make the biggest impact on their business or on their life right now, knowing everything that's going on in the world?
Yeah. I mean, I would say invest in yourself. Believe that you can do what you want to do. I think it's real easy to fall into that negative naysayer mentality. But if you keep a positive mind and you keep your focus on what you really want to do, I think that's an amazing opportunity to live the life that you envision for yourself. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to take the risk. And just follow your heart and follow your passion. But at the end of the day, that's really what you want to do. And just make sure that, it makes sense and that you can make a living at it. But if your passion lines up with your abilities, you're never going to work another day in your life. And that's exactly the way I feel. I do not ever regret. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I have to go to work today. I'm actually sad when I have to leave sometimes. So if that gives you any indication, you can live something that you love.
The cool thing for you is you get to leave work, which you love, and go home to your daughter, which you love more. And she is beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being part of our Flash Briefing Day and our Facebook Live. On behalf of Workman Success and all of our listeners, we wish you continued success and just continue making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. You have a servant's heart, and that's why I believe you're having the success you're having. So thank you from my heart for being part of our family and for being here today.
Thank you. And thanks for everything you've taught me to allow me to be able to do what I do.
You rock.
All right. Thanks.